All right, so for this drawing today, I wanted to do another shape drawing. I had done one earlier where there was a big shape across the entire page, and I kind of turned it around until I found something I liked. And I was talking to my wife, and we figured out that what we should do is actually do that shape drawing, but kind of in a different way to show that you can take that same shape and turn it into different things. So I had her draw this shape. I wanted it purposefully kind of small, quarter of a page type of thing up here. And then I kind of inked over it so it's nice and dark so you can see it. So that's the shape right there. That's what we did. But what I'm going to do here, I'm not sure if you can see this yet. We'll see it in a bit. But I've kind of traced that shape in 4 different ways. I've turned it a couple different times and looked at it different ways. So I'll take that same shape and I'll turn that into something. Then I'll take the shape and turn that into something and turn the shape and turn that into something and turn the shape and turn that into something. So I've got all of them on there. So you can kind of see that this random weird shape that my wife thought up and drew up real quick can turn into a couple different things, and how you can kind of play with it and have a little different fun with it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I took it here, just kind of traced it under there so that we can get going on it. I'm going to start with just how it is right up in there. Generally with these types of things, the first easiest thing for me to see is usually a face. I draw a lot of faces, a lot, characters, a lot of that's just kind of what I do. So I see faces, and it's kind of fun to turn these weird shapes into faces because you can get some really funky stuff. Generally, they're not going to be, princesses, Disney princesses, things like that. There's a very specific shape for that. But if you want like ugly dudes, they can have a pointy chin and a big bulbous nose. They can have, big fat cheeks. I mean, they can have all the things. You can do that with these ugly guys. Like you can already see there, I've got this big, massive nose to this pointy chin. The nose goes down so far that it's kind of coming even up over his lip. He's got a scowl on. Turn this into kind of a cheek there. Really get some of these wrinkles coming in there, things like that. It kind of looks like he's got a unicorn horn up in there. Might turn that just into hair or something like that. Let's come over here. Give him an eye just kind of up in here. Since he has these other wrinkles, we'll throw some wrinkles in by his eye, kind of heavy lid type of thing. And there. I'm actually kind of liking that. It's looking pretty fun. A bit more shading up in here. Suggestion that's really kind of going in into the shadow there. What we could even do, that could even be, some hair kind of coming down over his head. Almost kind of looks Conan the Barbarian or old caveman type of thing coming in with that hair. And that's just the way the hair happens to part. What we can do on that. A suggestion of an ear coming back over here. And even a big fat neck like that. Shading, I want to make sure I've got kind of a highlight coming in on that hair. I do these pretty quickly today instead of doing one drawing that takes half an hour to do. Just kind of 4 quick sketches to just kind of show how to do this and how to use this shape thing to come up with some different answers and stuff like that. So won't take this one much further than what it is right now, but there you kind of get that idea of, so I took this shape right there and kind of turned it into this caveman with a big brooding, scowl on his face, stuff like that. So kind of fun. Looks like next we're going to take this one right here, kind of trace that over here like this. I had looked at this one, so I looked at these a little beforehand just to make sure. And I did it light because sometimes in these I don't want to be so tied to that shape that it kind of inhibits creativity. I want it to spark creativity. So if there's a bit that's not quite working, that's okay. I'm going to take the general feel of it and just come up with something. And what I saw in this one was this curve right here. And it kind of felt to me like combined with this shape to be kind of a mouth of a whale. One of those big baleen whales, So if I just pull up just a little bit like this up in here, this kind of turns into the underside, and you have this big whale shape kind of coming up in there, which is kind of fun. Pull the eye over in here. Arch of his back. I could have the tail kind of come up like there. I kind of like this a bit better where it just kind of comes down. I want to make sure I kind of get the idea that this flipper kind of comes flat like this. Not, I mean, this is a fish flipper, you know, whales kind of have that up and down type of thing. I'm probably, and by probably mean I'm for sure going to make it a humpback whale because they're just super fun. They've got those big long flippers coming in like this. And now I've got this really fun shape where it's a whale, which are huge and long, and I've got this compact, fun little whale coming in here, which makes him really kind of cute and fun. I like that. You know, they do have a bit of a dorsal fin on them. Kind of a suggestion of a blowhole up there, that type of thing. I love on humpback whales, they have like these barnacles and just stuff on these fins. And really you can just dig into that type of thing, or it just looks really kind of gross and gritty and fun. Kind of shade that, push that back just a hair. And I've got this shape, really come in, darken up. Like this patterning kind of coming on underneath there. So kind of a cute little whale shape. What should we do with this eye? I'm gonna just be looking off there. Something going on there. You know what? He's even getting kind of ready to eat, so he's got crack there, you know. There we go. It's almost a sneer going on there. And again, if I took a lot of time, I could take, you know, a good half an hour on these drawings. Really detail them up, have a lot of fun with them. This is just to get that idea, and I like that shape. That's a lot of fun. Coming in there, probably come in, shade the top of that, kind of show that dark at the top, and then they have that lighter underneath type of thing going on. But there we go. So there you go. So we took that shape, so you can see it. That was that mouth that we kind of saw, the underside of the belly, turned it into a whale. So now when I go in, I think the third one I had here was here. This was actually the first one I saw as I was turning it around. And, you know, whenever I see something like that I usually either see a nose or a bird. And since we already did a nose with that guy, we decided we're going to do a bird over here. So we're going to take this, and this is just a nice, fun beak shape. Take it. Might just extend that up a bit. Nice shape. And even look at that. The bottom of him works perfectly, just really well for a bird shape right in there. You can kind of see that already. Kind of decide what to do with the bottom of that bill. Just pull it out a little bit. We'll give him a smile. Make him happy. And like that. Put some nostrils right up in here. Kind of up toward the head, away from the beak so much. This guy we're gonna fill. You know, there's not much room in a bird's head for a brain, because look at this huge eye in there. They're just happy-go-lucky little creatures there. There we go. Go in, an eye, put a shine on it. Even go in. Since this one was so quick and so easy, do a bit more detail on the eye. Kind of have some fun with that right there. I could come in and we could have a wing that extends up. I think for this drawing, I'm just gonna kind of have a suggestion of a wing. He's got that folded down just onto his body. He's just kind of sitting there having a good old time. Might even, we could have some fun with this beak, you know. Toucans kind of have some detailing, some fun patterning on their bills. You could go in with a horn bill or do something crazy. It'd be a lot of fun. For this one, kind of makes him look like a skull a little bit. It's just kind of funny. There's that. I'm gonna have the hint of some feathers here. You know, I'll have, if you were to texture him up, if you were to make a 3D model of him, of course it'd be feathers all over the place. So you just want that hint of it. Let the shape speak for itself, but to let the audience, let the viewer know that there are kind of feathers here. Just hint at it a little bit. Especially some of those long feathers at the end of the wing there. even go up, give him a hint of a tail just for fun. Darken up some of these important lines, that smile there. Make sure that's working. A lot of these will have, again, you know, just like almost a whale would have some dark on top and underneath, you know, this guy, he'd have some dark plumage on top and then kind of his belly, a different color there. It's just kind of a line for that. Even go in, he's kind of sitting on his legs. They're kind of just hidden up underneath those feathers, so just a hint of some feet under there, just for fun. And there you go. So turn that shape right there. Just a bird, kind of a fun little bird shape right there. Like I said, beaks and noses. You see the sharp point like that. So now we're gonna go on this one right here. I actually kind of was looking at it for this way quite a bit, and actually I kind of gravitated toward this. I kind of like what was going on here as a top of something. I decided what I wanted to do was almost turn this guy into a snail. I kind of saw, you know, the top of the snail coming up like this. You could have, you know, his eyes come up off of some stalks just right in there. This right over here could just be hint of a mouth, which I'm not sure what a snail's mouth actually looks like, but a cartoon snail's mouth looks just like that. And this looks like a frog mouth. I'm gonna do it. And then this shape up in here, I could turn into just a fun shell like that. I've talked lots in these videos about big, medium, and small, about big shapes, medium shapes, and small shapes. You can see it in a bunch of these things. I've got a big beak, you know, these small little, you know, claws, talons up in here, bigger eyes or smaller eyes, long, things like that. With this shell for the snail, I really didn't want to just do just a perfect spiral where it just gets slightly smaller. I have this big shape, then I have a medium shape, then I have these small shapes. I wanted it to feel like it's turned a little bit and like it has a bit more design to it as well, and just creates this really nice feel to it as I do that. Pull the rest of it off the body like that. But yeah, so even in some of the spaces between shapes, it's not just that I have this big shape for the upper lip and a smaller shape for the lower lip. It's also those in-between spaces. How far do I bridge between here to here to here to here, that I can get those bigs, mediums, and smalls in, and it'll just create some really good visual interest. So I like that. Going in here, really just follow the outline for the rest of this. I like that this shape kind of gave the snail kind of a chin, which you don't normally think of when you think of snails, but this guy's got one. Give him some wrinkle. He's scowling, so he's got some skin kind of pulling back and wrinkling up in there. Sometimes I'll put in these lines just like this, just kind of to hint at kind of the way the figure curves. I've seen some drawings. Sometimes people take a drawing and they'll put almost a grid on it to show how it could kind of work in 3D space. And it's really helpful for modelers and stuff like that. I do it sometimes just to kind of give that hint of a 3D space and a way that it works. Come here like this. Again, I could come in and just detail up the heck out of this shell and have some fun with it, but we just really wanted to get that shape in there. Again, look, so just kind of hinting at how the curvature of this shell works. I don't want to create too many tangents. I don't want all the lines to be exactly the same, so I put lines where there aren't lines here and vice versa. A lot of fun with that. Bit of shading under here under his lip. I'm going to give this guy kind of this bug-eyed look. He's a little lost. He's not kind of sure what's going on. Detail. And we have turned that guy into a snail. So yeah, so from that one drawing right there, we saw kind of a caveman's head, saw a whale's mouth, turned it into a bird, and we have a snail. So yeah, so I could have, that's what I would have seen when I did it and maybe decided on one of the drawings, but this was fun to kind of take all of them and just do really quick extrapolations on them, just really quick, And you know, some of these shapes like this mouth shape, that's something I'll probably use again because that was working out well there. I love this big shape to this right in there as well. That's something I can use later on, the whale. So a lot of fun things came of it. Sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. Some of them I like, some of them I don't as much. These guys all turned out pretty well, which I'm happy about. And it was just a fun exercise, something fun to do to kind of spark your creativity, just break out of that mold. If you're drawing the same thing over and over and over again, this has helped me find some shapes and some ideas that I never would have thought of on my own, and kind of helped me branch out and just break out of that. So there we go. You got 4 drawings for today. Enjoy.